Love is supposed to lift you, inspire you, make you feel safe. But sometimes we stay in relationships not because we're truly happy, but because we're afraid of being alone, because we've convinced ourselves this is the best we can get. If you've ever felt like you're giving more than you're getting, ignoring red flags, or just getting by in your relationship, this video is for you. Let's talk about 10 signs you might be settling in love and why you deserve so much more. 1. You often feel lonely, even when you're together. You could be sitting right next to them and still feel completely alone. It's not about distance, it's about disconnection. They may talk to you, laugh with you, even say, "I love you," but deep down, something's missing. You feel unseen, like your inner world is too quiet, too neglected. And the worst part? You start blaming yourself. Maybe you think you're too sensitive or too needy, but you're not. You're just craving real emotional connection, and that is not too much to ask for. 2. You downplay or ignore what you truly want. You used to dream about a love that felt full and freeing, but somewhere along the way you started lowering the bar. Maybe you stopped asking for affection or emotional support or the small acts of care that used to make you feel safe. You tell yourself, "It's okay, I don't really need that," but deep down you do. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person, and your needs, your real human emotional needs, deserve to be met. 3. You're more attached to the potential than the reality. You tell yourself they'll change, that things will get better, that the version of them you see sometimes is who they really are. But how long have you been waiting? When you're in love with potential, you start living in a fantasy version of the relationship. You tolerate the pain today because you're holding on to hope for a better tomorrow. But love shouldn't require waiting for someone to become who you need. It should feel safe and fulfilling, right now. 4. You're constantly justifying their behavior. They forget things that matter to you. They dismiss your feelings, or maybe they snap at you in ways that sting a little too often. And every time it happens, you tell yourself, "They're just tired," or "I'm probably being too sensitive." You explain their actions to others, but deep down, you know, this isn't okay. When you're constantly defending someone's behavior, you're teaching yourself to accept less than what you deserve. You deserve someone who treats you with consistent care, not confusion. 5. You don't feel fully yourself around them. You catch yourself shrinking in conversations, editing your opinions, laughing less, or hiding the parts of you that feel too loud, too emotional, or too different. Love should never make you dim your light. If you feel like you're constantly performing or censoring yourself, you're not in love. You're in survival mode. And real love doesn't require you to abandon pieces of yourself just to keep someone close. 6. You're afraid to be alone, so you stay. There's a quiet fear that whispers, "If I leave, what if no one else wants me?" So you stay. You stay even when you're not fulfilled. You stay even when you're hurting, because the thought of being single seems scarier than staying in a love that barely sustains you. But here's the truth. Being alone is not failure. It's a reset, a space to reconnect with yourself. And often it's where the healing starts. Settling out of fear is not love, it's self-abandonment. 7. You're not growing, you're stuck. Healthy love challenges you. It encourages you to evolve. But when you're settling, you stop dreaming, you stop growing. You start feeling like you're stuck in place, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Maybe your partner doesn't support your ambitions, or maybe the relationship is built on avoiding hard conversations. Either way, love should make you feel more like yourself, not less. 8. You keep making excuses for why you're still there. You tell yourself it's the time you've invested, the memories, the promises made. But deep down, you know you're staying more out of habit than happiness. You find yourself saying, "It's not that bad," or "Every relationship has its problems." And while that's true, problems are normal, feeling consistently unfulfilled is not. If you're constantly trying to convince yourself to stay, maybe it's time to ask what you're so afraid to lose. 9. You can't imagine a future that feels exciting. When you think about your future with them, what do you feel? Comfort, numbness, dull safety, or true excitement? When you're settling, you often see a future that feels predictable but uninspiring. It's like you're walking toward a life that doesn't fully reflect your heart's desires. A future you've convinced yourself is good enough. But deep down, you know you want more. You know you deserve more. 10. You keep hoping they'll finally give you what you deserve. Maybe you've been patient, loyal, understanding. You've given second, third, and fourth chances. You've tried to be enough. But if you're constantly hoping your love will change someone, that's not love. That's self-sacrifice. If you feel like you have to work just to earn the bare minimum, that's not connection. It's survival. You deserve someone who doesn't make you question your worth every day. Settling doesn't always feel like sadness. Sometimes it just feels like quiet resignation, like going through the motions, like convincing yourself this is all there is. But it's not. You were not made to beg for the kind of love you're so willing to give. You were not made to shrink just to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You were made for love that sees you, hears you, and grows with you.